Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing the Yuna deck. This is a deck that revolves around filling our graveyard with a lot of enchantments and bringing them back for free on our end step using Yuna and her kind of passive that she has, along with getting through for a lot of damage or instantly winning the game with some of our summons. But the way we're going to get there is playing the Overlord package, where it's the Bale Merc, Hauntwoods, and Mistmoors. Those provide a lot of value because, one, we can play them for cheaper, and then we can bring them back for a lot bigger value later. Or with like the Hauntwoods, that allows us to play Yuna a turn early. The other cards that we are playing in here that are kind of cool or flashy is the Authority of the Councils, Dredger's Insight, and Temporary Lockdown, because Lockdown, I believe, received a spoiler replacement in the new set. So whenever Temporary Lockdown rotates, we will have a new card in its stay. But outside of that, we have a big top end in this deck that works really well with Yuna and helps win the game almost instantly. But with all that said, let's go ahead and game. All right, well, sure, I guess. Opponent is first. We're participating, that's for sure. I'll take a land here. It's got to be Is It, right? Yeah. Is it Vivi? Ooh. I don't really have a Yuna or anything ready, really. So I guess I just play here. I'm just using my sorcery speed one to take out the Slick Shot, and then we'll better try up a Vivi after they play it this turn, maybe. We'll see. Will they play a Vivi? It's like always weird to like jam a Vivi on 3, right? Because you run into that possibility of it falling short for the turn. There's a stock up. Okay. Pretty good card. And there's an opt. There's not a ton of value to be had here. Definitely think for ourselves, this is definitely a Dredger's Insight turn. Yeah. So we're going to grab back Yuna. We can always bring this back with Yuna. The only real problem is we're going to be kind of a turn behind. They go for a stock up, so that does give us time. It really depends how much interaction they have, like a Flood Maul or whatnot. But we're most likely going to go for a second Dredgers, we'll gain some life, and then Bitter Triumph. Maybe he puts a Summon in there. Sleight of hand, still like not the best, because the thing is, sure, they're getting damage off with this, but that's the only thing getting larger. Like, this isn't going anywhere. We don't need to play the starting town anytime soon. So let's play Plains here. That's the second Dredgers. I guess I can grab back Lush. Then we just pass here. Overlord can come in, or Titan. Mill 5 cards, return all land cards from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Sure, so here we're just waiting for a spell to be cast. They have Spell Pierce, they have Spell Pierce. We're just hope they don't play Spell Pierce, which I don't recall the list actually playing Spell Pierce all that often. Could be a Flood Maul here, but they can't bounce their own permanent, so it will stagger us quite a bit with Yuna. No. Committing, okay. Sure. Sure. It's fine with me. Yuna. These Dredgers are going to gain a lot of life here. We're going to go here. We're going to just pop this. We could blow this up, but I just don't know if that's necessary right now. The 1-2 is like good, but not necessarily that threatening. Finality counter is obviously on here, so if it goes away, it's just gone. Honestly, I think I want to go for the Titan more than anything. And Mills fuels our graveyard, puts 3 lands into play. But our Surveil land should give us a little bit of info on what we want to do. Answered the Vivi on the correct turn. They could just level up their Storm Chasers, grabbing the stock up out, but I just don't know what they'll do. One of the downsides of cutting like Leyline Binding to kind of getting our deck a little bit more rotation safe, right? As obviously people want to see more rotation safe decks. Obviously this isn't here, but our mana base with Shocklands coming is going to change entirely. Well, they might not be. I don't know what's happening. We'll wait until they come back. Okay, well, they just randomly quit playing the game. Playing the #1 deck in the meta, but sure. Let's play a Surveil. Now, do remember, I will point this out. We can just put that in the graveyard, it's fine. We are playing Temporary Lockdown, even though it does rotate, but there's a reason for that, because there is an artifact version that has been spoiled, maybe unofficially by somebody that Wizards may or may not be searching for. But Temporary Lockdown is a card that does have a direct replacement, but it's a artifact instead with an activated ability across the bottom. So I feel okay with playing Temporary Lockdown as the card will be replaced. But I think our opponent's not here. This Temporary Lockdown is going to resolve, and then we're going to hit him with the 5-3 because they'll time out. Match 1, game 1. Our blue-red best deck in the meta rage quit out of the game, and with that we're going to be able to hit them with our summon, which says this creature, when it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game, which is a very cool way to end game #1. So very cool. We move on. Going first, our mana base is a little bit weird, but just because of how many tap lands we have, but sure. We're going to play the black source. Starting Town will keep, and the reason we keep Starting Town is so I can play on curve here. Sure. We can play Starting Town, play Overlord, and then summon here. Yuna, fantastic rip. Probably put 4 in there over the 3 we were playing. Ah! Very nice. Go in. Grab a plains here. We need the plains so we can place Overlord. Delaney would be bad. That means their creatures would be unblockable. A counter going across, sure. I mean, I think I have to block. Sure. Kind of felt like they were going to do that anyway, but I feel like just blocking there makes a lot of sense. Oh, unfortunate there. This can be sacrificed at any point, so it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense to do anything else. Correct. Yes. I do feel like we're going to lose this Overlord tokens anyway here, so I don't feel that bad about ripping that Temporary Lockdown. Because the thing is we can virtue something, maybe something a little bit bigger. Lightning is a card that comes to mind that they could be playing. But I said this in the game before, and I'll say it here, because when we finally played it, the opponent kind of left the game. They rage quit out. But I am playing Temporary Lockdown because there is an unofficial spoiler that directly replaces the card. So we will have a card like Temporary Lockdown at all times. It's not going to go away. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Temporary Lockdown going to come down. Virtue going to eat the Packle here. This trigger can stack a bit differently. I'm just going to double block, threaten this. I assume they're going to pop one of these, but that's fine. I hope they commit another creature. They do not. Lockdown. Instantly resolves, it seems. Yuna, you'll come in next turn. Let's play a Surveil here. Graveyard that. Yeah. And now this is a turn away. This is 2 turns away. Ooh. I don't have a way to answer this. So weirdly enough, we're actually just going to play this. I do not want an Ogier to win the game here. And now with the Bitter Triumph, we might just be able to win the game. As you see, we grow out. That's the best part about this Yuna version of the deck, right? Is like where we played Zur before, we still have to actually win the game, where the Yuna version with Zur, but the Yuna version, sometimes if you just get the mana of this and we've stalled out the game enough, like next turn, if they don't put any creatures in play, we just win off a contact here. So that's pretty cool. And we have the Bitter Triumph to pretty much guarantee that this creature has a gateway to hit. And if not, we just get the Yuna. If we hit a land, we get the Bitter Triumph and Yuna, which is crazy. So very cool. Surveil, Virtue, Overlord. So we need to play Cottage into Thicket and the Virtue and the Overlord on green, and then Surveil after that. Sure. Seems like a plan to me. Because we want double green. I mean, I guess I could have played this. I'd still end up with double green. Caretaker's Talent is what this makes me think of, but who knows? Honestly, I guess with nothing in play and this being sorcery, I can just play the Surveil land. I'll bend that one. We're going to make the other land off this, so we don't necessarily need the 5th land. And deciding over this or this is a little bit whatever, right? We don't really care to do that. They surveilled. They're surveilling again. Overlord. Make a land. We're going to play this land, and then we're hard casting Overlord. Urbrass Forge, sure. A card we can deal with. This is a card that, even if we lose to in this specific game, this is not a card that we will have to deal with in the future, which is very nice. So a little part of me wants to play this Overlord because I want to find the card Yuna. But I think if I just play this Overlord, and as I get combat and attacks through, I'm going to start making everywhere lands. I'll just start hard casting these things, dude. I do not care. Like, I think even if they answer this, like, how do they beat a Resolve Virtue without exhausting all the get losses they may have? But even if this token does come out with Urbrass Forge, I will let it just hit me, just in case of, like, a damage situation. Sure. We're going to answer that pretty cleanly, and they're tapped out, and they already played a land, so we block for free. Okay. You just want me to win, brother. Just let me. Just tell me. Combat. Answer here. I think at this point I'm going to go for a Yuna, even though the mana doesn't necessarily make sense. Because I already have 7 mana for this. We missed, but that's fine. Also putting like extra creatures in the graveyard makes playing this good, right? We are a turn off from this, of course, but honestly, getting to play this really quickly is actually incredibly good because of the bottom mode. But a Sunfall is something I have to be worried about. Something they also have to play around a bit. Get lost is obviously possible. Just a pause there. Combat. Or do we want to go Dredgers into second Overlord? Or do we just want to slam this Virtue? Honestly, I feel like just slamming Virtue is good, right? Gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or if I go... Ah, man, that's weird. I think I'm going to play Dredgers. I know I could go for Virtue, but I feel like a Get Lost is being held. But I want to guarantee the land. So let's actually grab this and deck then at the same time. Or I could have obviously grabbed maybe just a basic land, but pulling this gives us a life. We get this. We go grab another land out of the deck, so we're less likely to rip a land here. Now this comes up. Sunfall, obviously the card I can think of is probably going to come in. Another card that will rotate that we will not have to worry about in the future. But, yep. Immediately the one card that I honestly, of all cards rotating, I'm probably happiest this card's gone. I think that card makes like the most boring type of gameplay just because of how weird it gets a lot of times. But I'm going to cast this. gonna blow up the Urbrax Forge. I don't even need to see through that thing. I know exactly where it was. But now we have a massive 9/9 on the ETB. It blows up a permanent. Whenever it ticks up, it'll also blow up a permanent. If we get there, obviously, it could get Sunfalled again. But most Caretaker talent decks actually have lowered the amount of Sunfalls they played because they were just too slow before. But they can go back up on the amount of Sunfalls now because of obvious reasons of Heartfire Hero being gone. But as you see, another one comes through. I like don't even care to Overlord like Virtue. I just want to keep casting these. Here. I'm having a good time. Virtue just feels like it's going to have so much value when I finally put it in play. Probably play Overlord or something. Realistically, it's just trying to get through the last bit of Sunfalls and stuff, right? It just doesn't really bother me that much. I can Virtue this token out of the way. They can plus here. This game's going to take a very long time from here, it feels. If I can't just close out the game. Obviously, my Overlord will help me do that. Because of the 2 flyers. Will you plus your Caretaker's talent? What are you doing? If they copy the Incubate token, it doesn't save it, so it's a little bit weird. I could also bring up my lands and just start attacking like that, but I do think this is the turn to establish the Virtue, so we're going to go to combat. I don't think I need to remove this. Going to make 2 more creatures on the back end. And obviously I can just protect with these. Do I actually have enough mana? 7. No, I'm 1 short. I could have played this, attacked with one of these, and cast Virtue, I think. Yeah, thanks to the Everywhere lands. So, a little bit of a mistake on my end. But here comes a Virtue. As you can see, the 5 mana there. It's just weird to think I have enough mana to have 5 mana for a creature and 7 mana for a Virtue. You have Sunfall number 3 in your top 18. We'll see. Sure. Your top 19? 6? Of course you do. They always do. Why wouldn't they? This the usual. Look how many Sunfall tokens have been used. Sure, I guess so. And of course they have that as well. We all know how it goes. And I can't find a Yuna. Like that's the other side of the coin, right? I haven't been able to find a Yuna, but my opponent's found 3 Sunfalls and I'm halfway through my deck. It's always a bit weird, right? I could just die here. Actually, I think I am dead. If they do it. Alright, they didn't do it. Sure.
I am a shining blade. Form up on me.
You just need a way to blow up all these Caretaker's talents. But they could have leveled up the thing all the way. That would have been 8 damage. I think they had enough. Dude, are you serious? Like, I can't find a Yuna? What are we doing? I'm halfway through my deck. Can't find that, but my control opponent can find 3 copies of Sunfall that they don't play anymore. Well, that's just me. Okay. Alright, sure. Bet.
Surely more can be done.
Go ahead. Show me the other Sunfall, please. Boat's still in the same exact spot. They could just bring all those up and attack me. I just don't have... I need a temporary lockdown after this Yuna. Problem with Yuna is I don't really have anything to bring back. Or is it just an enchantment? Oh, I could do temporary lockdown, I guess. And now they're a mana short of doing that. Sure. I think we just win because they messed up. interesting situation. I guess I'll gain a little life. Make another token. So I can bring back Yuna. Oh, that's only going to be instep, though. They only have 1 mana, correct? Yes. Six. I can block kind of however they want, I guess. Let's pop this. Might as well use the map because again we're gonna bring back authority. Probably not good there. This is at the beginning of my next step, yeah. Into combat. We just want to get sure. We want to make sure our Yuna has like actual targets when it comes to it. I'll grab a second Yuna, sure. Now we find all of our Yunas. They're in a pocket of 3 apparently. Sure. Yuna. Sure. Sure. Turn. Move him up. Sunfall. I'm prepared. I'm not prepared, but I'm prepared. The draw 2 here. I hope it's the last card in your deck. They're almost halfway through. Obviously, they're going to have cards like Get Lost and stuff at this point of the game, but I'm all the way up to 21 too. We leveling this? That's actually a pretty good sign for us that they don't really have a ton going on. Helix? Sure. Sure. Do I have anything important in here? Not really. There's another Yuna, which is pretty good. Upsy daisy. Upsy daisy. In we go. I guess technically there is archangels, so I don't know. These. Here we go. Okay. I know what the math was there, but sure. Play this, I suppose. Let us bring back Virtue. I like Virtues. They're pretty cool. Authority honestly might have been the correct answer, so they can't make a creature to block now I think about it. Yeah, weird that authority was actually the answer. Thinking about it now. Because this can make a blocker. Although I do have 2 lands and like 3 creatures on the board. They're going to go for draws here. No. But yeah, this would enter tapped, right? So we would have free reign to attack. There's another caretaker, so they can make a copy. Sure. And then this would also enter tap. Yeah, so I guess on instep we're bringing back the authority. Especially because it also counters that. Oh, you quit? Oh. So afraid, bro. They're scared. You can't quit there. Come on. You drug me out of here for 15 minutes just to concede? Because attacking with these, I only get you to 1. Like, you have a chance. And this deck is one of the better, if not the best decks at 1. Although, if I had just brought this back, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But we win. Very cool. Oh, I guess this has trample, right? Because Yuna gives it trample. Never mind. I'm an idiot. They lost. Nice. Opponent goes first. Good cards. Good cards. We'll keep. Land War Elves. Okay. Okay. Surveillance actually awesome here. Sure. We'll take that. Go starting town. Play dredgers. Okay. Interesting. Dredgers. Could have went for Overlord, start taking it down, but I'm going to grab out our Yuna, of course. Now, there's one of two ways to go about this. It kind of depends what this card is. Town Greeter, sure. Sure. They grab a land, okay. Overlord. Sweet. Good card. Playing the Hauling Marauder. Enjoying the deck before it goes, I suppose. Like a little part of me just wants to play the Overlord, but I know Temporary Lockdown's probably just the answer. Then I get hit with this. I don't really care. Or do I just play this? Go get a land, play land, and look at playing Yuna maybe? As soon as we get Yuna in play, the better off we are. And I can always temporary lockdown later, right? Yeah, I guess so. I can also maybe get it to commit a bit more to the board. So let's grab another green here. I could have grabbed a swamp just so our Overlord and stuff could be cast without taking damage. But again, this doesn't matter that much because we have Yuna, right? Like, it's a card we want. Second Roots, no Planeswalker, so we're fine. Second one of those. We're going to make a couple of tokens. They still have 2 green mana. Well, 2 mana of any type here. Oh, and we get them to invest a spell here. Huge. All right, so unfortunately, we do have to temporarily lock down this board. Yeah. We can get our Overlord cooking. I will bring back this. And now we'll lock down. Cut down a lot of what they're doing. You can tell they don't really want to play these too much just because of the fact that, like, obviously it hurts them a bit. If it's, well, if for each of those opponents we didn't discard 4 or greater, so we'll get rid of this Overlord. Don't want them to get value. We might as well play this. Go here. Yuna. Authority would be good, but I think I want to bring back the summon. Pop that out of our way. We're cooking through, trying our best. Oh, they can't even play Beanstalk anymore. This whole time, I promise you, I've been waiting for them to play up to Beanstalk. 1 green land. I'm going to let a Yuna go then. Obviously, they can't do much about this. Removal spell? No, no swamp. No swamp. We should have grabbed it earlier, team. Oh, we're so bad. That's frustrating. Kinda. It's like not, but it is, you know? We didn't grab the swamp earlier, which would have won us the game here. This creature gets whatever this creature does combat damage. Draw 2 cards. Each player lose 2. Yeah, they. Honestly, I feel like the draw cards is almost better, but it has trample. Wait, it has trample. Never mind. Yuna gives it trample. It wins. Just know how your cards work. Oh man, I did this yesterday with Vivi. Yuna gives trample. Ah! I'm sorry if anybody had me on their TV. I really do apologize. Well. We are first. Our mana is a little tough, but we'll keep. Considering we have 2 green, we really only need another land here. And we get look, draw to find a 3rd land. And I feel pretty okay with that. When we do find a 3rd land. Okay. Apparently it's just going to be Bitter Triumph every other time. And we're against Dinos. A deck we probably cannot beat. I mean, realistically, we cannot beat this. That does not matter at all. Overlord. If it is Zombify Natalia, I'm just moving on. Come on, just cast a spell, brother. Just click the 1 creature in there. No, okay. I was like, you have it. If you have it, you know. Who knows? Maybe my opponent will, I don't know, trip over and not be able to play the game anymore. There's also the 5-mana one that they definitely could have. Yep, they got it. Fun game! The deck they're playing is super cool. It's just like, I feel like I always play against it whenever I'm playing a deck that literally cannot interact with it at all, but it is what it is. Opponent is first here. Tap land, Virtue, sure. We'll try. Invoke it is. No! Authority, you're so close to being good. And I gotta keep the lockdown. Cause I think I just lose if I don't. Arabelle? Sure. Pop you. Buys us time. A land or dredgers, because dredgers will not guarantee find a land, but there's a pretty good chance. Oh boy. Play authority. Let's pass. I drew the same amount of authorities as I had starting lands. We'll see. My day's just gonna end with like getting world starred by dinos and then just like not being able to interact with my opponent. I know 2-lander is kind of like suspect, but we get to do that stuff all the time, right? With other decks, but okay. So starting town enters tapped regardless because it doesn't specify if it's your 3rd land. It specifies if it's your 3rd turn. So we're going to take Portigo here and just play our Surveil land. I'll gain 2-ish. Please go away. I want lands. Now the problem here is when I temporary lockdown, I'm going to lose my own authority. +3, nesting bot, sure. And a life. Nice. I'm taking 9. Land that enters tapped. Okay. This could be a get lost and might make our game not matter at all, but we'll try. Oh, they take a draw? Okay. Well, not get lost. At least as of right now, it's not get lost. Could be after. But remember, authority and everything will enter at the same time, so it should make their creatures stuff enter tap. Oh, yeah, because the other side wasn't unlocked. A generic knight. Nice. Okay. Like, I want to play this. I think this is the right play. And then just play this authority. Green. Give me a white, dude. I don't know. And I'll play this authority. Now, obviously, our creature wouldn't enter tapped. But I'm going to pretend like it would. We take a block. Of course. Yuna. Yuna does get ward 2 here. We go in here. We grab the summon. Pop here. And we pass. And now even if they blow this up, all their creatures enter tapped, we gain a ton of life, and our summon hits him and wins the game. I really thought on that 2-lander we were just going to get punished. Maybe keeping temporary lockdown on top was greedy, but I think we just saw how valuable it was to keep, even though we almost lost potentially. But I will more often than not with a surveil land take the chance on a 2-lander whenever you have the potential to shut out your opponent, right? So it's a bit weird, but we take out win, maybe not deserve it all too much, but regardless. All right, so here we are with the deck. This has kind of got a couple of things that I brought up in the past where I was thinking that I think this is one of the few decks that Authority is actually a really good dominant card in. And the reason for that is this deck primarily needs 1 turn. And without Heartfire Hero and the Monstrous Rage and so on and so forth, that's even stretched out a bit more because of the fact of the Authority being so good. The problem was before that, like, the Manifold Mouse could enter tapped but still pumped a Heartfire Hero, and it didn't really feel like we were doing anything. Sure, we gained 2 life, but then they hit us for 12, right? So the difference now is without the Heartfire Hero, without the Monstrous Rage, that Authority actually feels like it buys you that extra turn and does feel a lot better in a lot of our matchups, especially with, like, Rabbits being an incredibly go wide strategy, blue-black trying to flash in creatures against you all the time or flash in things. And just that incremental life can buy us that extra turn or 2 that we may need to get our unit down with the ward and protect itself, along with bringing back something valuable enough that it can just win the game. So it's a bit weird. The other thing too is, like I said before, temporary lockdown is in here, but again, I believe there's a replacement for it. I wish it would just be spoiled. I actually guess I could check right now. And Edge of Eternity spoilers if it's actually been spoiled yet. I think it's just on a random Reddit page probably. Can I find it real quick? Edge of Eternity's spoilers. Oh yeah, here it is. That's the Reddit page of just leaks of spoilers. Okay. Somebody go shut them down. Can we find it here? These are all, like, just awful pictures of somebody that somehow got a box and stuff, which is weird. I always find that weird. Either way, if it doesn't exist, this entire video kind of is a little bit weird. Obviously, we still want to play with cards like Temporary Lockdown, why the rotation's not necessarily here. Just for example, like, Convoke is a deck that is going to be around for now, but might not be around whenever, like, you know, rotation happens, meaning our temporary lockdown has less value. But this is also a card that you could just now play in a sideboard and it loses a ton of value anyway. I do think Dredger's Insight is actually an incredibly good replacement over Up to Beanstalk. I almost feel to some extent that it's actually better in this deck. Beanstalk obviously is just so good, especially when you're playing Leyline Bindings. Leyline Binding being a card that would make Beanstalk better. But Dredger's Insight allows us to help find lands, gains us a little bit of life along with the Authority. So you kind of have like a tag team there of those 2 cards. But then it also just fuels our Yuna while also finding a Yuna with this Overlord as well. So essentially we have 7 2-drops that help us find Yuna quicker while also fueling the graveyard for the card. So it's just, it felt so good. I felt like it was a pretty good valuable card. And also the fact that if it goes under a temporary lockdown and never gets blown up, it does trigger again. So it can actually help rebound us in a way. But with all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Yuna is a really cool card. This deck is a bit expensive whenever it comes to rare / mythics, as you'll know. Like, I would just, if you don't own temporary lockdowns at this point, I would just wait off to the new set and just see if that card actually is there and then just craft it instead, because obviously it's rotating. But the real issue becomes this pile. Like, this is a lot of mythics. Summon Titan you also don't really need. It's just kind of like a 5-mana 7/7 that we're playing that also can maybe return a lot of lands if the game goes deep, or maybe it's just a generic 5-mana card that we just play, right? So with all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.